Welcome to Pija Podcast.
Okay. Lhamo Choedon, welcome to the Picture Podcast. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm Chisem.
Of
Thank you so much for coming and contacting us. It means a lot.
of course, no, it means a lot that you guys are young and that you guys are doing something, you know? I think it's great. I was telling my Pija friends that there's a lot that we can learn from Chisem, right? From you guys. I think you guys have been doing it a little bit longer than us, and what you guys have been doing has been great. Um, I loved your kind of Lhamo video. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
really,
It's been going viral recently, right?
really, I haven't checked on that after we upload it.
Really, you haven't checked? Do you usually check like numbers and stuff like that, like analytics, or you usually stay away from?
Honestly, not that much. Like I don't really care about numbers, but we
Mm,
of course we want and we prefer reach out to more audience through
yeah.
our video. That's great to know. Since
That
my classes started, I was a little bit occupied. So twice a month or twice a month, I used to check, but not regularly.
that's amazing. Because we check our numbers almost every day, and it's bad. It's like
Yeah,
it's addictive. Yeah.
like when I started GSIM and we were active on the social media on the first day. I used to check regularly and it's so disturbing.
Yeah.
That's why and when you check in all of a sudden, you will see a huge number and that gives you a motivation to do more.
Mm, got it. Got it. So as a analytics addict, and
Mhm.
you as a psychology major, what tips do you have for me to get over this, uh, let's say, disturbance?
I don't recommend you to check regularly.
Okay.
Of course, we all need more audience.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Things what we can do is we can share on our social media as much as we can
Mm-hmm.
without checking the number of how many people watched video and how much people has comment on the video. So
Mm-hmm.
like twice a month you can check and I think you will get motivation uh,
Okay.
motivation by huge number.
Okay. I'm gonna start off small, okay? I'm gonna check only once a week now, okay? I'll text you later. I'll message you later if I was able to do it. Only like not check until Sunday. I'll try that first. Yeah. Should I tell you how much the video has, how many views the video has, or you want to keep that to yourself? You want to keep that like, you don't want to know it yet.
Yeah, you can say.
Okay.
I'll be, you know.
Then you guess how many views do you think your video has, which was uploaded 1 week ago?
Mm, Maybe if you are saying huge, maybe 5K.
Double,
Double. 10.
10,000.
Wow. How she speak is very nice.
Yeah. I mean, how she
Because
speaks is very nice as well, but how you interview is very great as well. Yeah.
thank you. I'm
Yeah.
not good at interviewing.
No, you
I
don't think
always
so?
no.
Why not?
I I like talking to camera, but I'm a little bit conscious and I'm
Mm-hmm.
very shy person
Uh-huh.
to the guests for the very first time and questioning about their life. It's very hard to,
Yeah.
take step your comfort zone. So,
Yeah.
but I used to because we have very limited members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, especially for the topics that you guys talk about, right? It's very for the guests, it's very vulnerable, right? 혼자 전에 직 오늘 샘슈서 직다 직고라다 그래 로고라 직고라다, right? For them to
Mhm.
talk about all these things, right? Um, how what's your process for interviewing? Like, how do you get them to the comfort zone? Because that's the most important thing, right? For them to be comfortable and then open up and be more comfortable with it opening up. What's your process? How do you think through it?
Yeah, like before interviewing them on a camera, we always used to talk with them for like more than half an hour, like, to get to know each other and to see if they are comfortable to share on a certain topic, which are kind of sensitive in their life.
Mm,
So we used to ask few questions, which help us to break our ice.
mm.
So this
What
this
kind of questions are these? Kandido.
mm, Pinasishina, like first I used to ask how are them before the incidents, or if I know something has happened on their life. So
Mhm,
before that, how are you, and how are your parents helping you, and is it okay if I ask your relationship partner, if you have, and um how was your journey? I
mm,
want We used to learn about other person before the camera set.
got it. And do you
Mm.
ever share your story to them before the camera set? Because on camera, it's like 80%, 90% them, right? But like off camera, beforehand, before the interview, do you share anything that you went through? Like, like for example, like 저 yung ngaya din source or like anything like that?
Yeah, of course. I
Yeah.
used to share a lot about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, to push other person to express more,
Right.
so that they feel related and they want to express more.
Yeah.
Since if that guest feel more connected to you.
Hmm.
Mm.
So to tell me, why did you think there's a need to start Chisem Foundation, which means selflessness in English?
It's a long story actually. I'll
We
try
have all
to
the time. We have all the time.
okay, I'll share. So I was in high school, like, class to the 12, 11 and 12. I was in school and I was school prefect.
What's school perfect?
Yeah.
Huh?
I was school monitor.
아, 네. 그래. 네. 너
You know,
정도 약보든 저 예상인데.
no, not yakbo.
No?
I'm in study, like I'm above average.
Okay. Okay. Uh-huh.
So I was in a new school and um, I was become school prefect.
Mm-hmm.
And then further, like our responsibility is to look after all the students if they are maintaining discipline and
Mm-hmm.
um, making them on time to every program. So one time I remember that she was 1 year senior and she took a gap year because she was not well. And when I was in class 12, she rejoined the school.
Mm-hmm.
And I our warden said that she had social anxiety. I only know the term social anxiety, and I don't know the meaning of like I I didn't understand how the social anxiety looks like. I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing detail about social anxiety. So it was morning assembly when all the students need to gather on the ground. So I was checking in girls' washroom, if there are any students who is bunking the assembly. So
Yeah.
and she was in the washroom, like she was doing nothing and just simply being there in washroom. So I just asked like, why you're not going to assembly and you have to be there. If teachers know about you bunking the assembly, they might get you in punishment. So we should go there and you should attend the assembly. And they have many presentations going on. You might get fun. So I
Mm.
convinced her to go to assembly. And when we went together and I keep her on the line,
Mm-hmm.
she was acting quite like, conscious, and she's not being there.
Mm.
But I couldn't understand her situation at that time. And I don't know nothing about the mental health during my high school. So like, um, during the graduation, I don't know nothing about psychology also, because in Tibetan school we don't have option of psychology.
Mm-hmm.
So during the graduation, there was one teacher who is very good to me, and he just asked me like, what you gonna do after this, after this now? And I was like, I don't know, sir. I honestly, I want to join at college, but I don't know which course I should take.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him that I want to work with youth, and I like kids very much.
Mm-hmm.
So I just mentioned that I want to work with kids and NGO, NGO like UNO. I mentioned UNO. I want to work in the UNO, and he said that, oh, that psychology might be helpful for you in that, that field, to touch to this kind of like environment. So like after the graduation, I checked on the Google what is psychology,
Mm-hmm.
and I I researched about the psychology, and I read a few books,
What
and I
books?
found yeah,
What books did you read?
it's a like for the Indian students, they have psychology as a course during their high school. So they have their own books, the
I
basic
see.
psychology books. So I have read those books and I found very interested.
Mm.
So for the bachelor, I took psychology, and it's a very new subject for me, honestly.
Mm.
And for the first semester, I was lost. I
Dude,
couldn't.
can you
Mhm.
tell me a little bit about that? Why were you lost? Like, why was it difficult for you?
See, first thing, it's a very new environment for me. I grew up in Tibetan community, in Tibetan school. I was brought up in the this one boarding school,
Yeah.
and I haven't interact with outsider that much.
Mm-hmm.
So for the college, you have to go to college, you have to interact with other people, and those students, they are not Tibetan, they are Indian. I'm
Mm-hmm.
the only Tibetan student in my college. I've seen a few students who looks like me, but they are not Tibetan. So it's a women's college, and I was very lost, honestly. Like, I don't know how to mingle with other students. I don't know how to build connection with teacher, and I couldn't understand how what teachers are teaching in class. I know they are speaking in English, but I'm not able to absorb what they
Mm-hmm.
are teaching. The only thing is I read books,
Mm-hmm. In
which
your free
are related,
time.
yeah, in
Mm-hmm.
free time. So, like, I remember I went to one of my professor, and I talked to her like, ma'am, I'm not able to understand what you guys are teaching, and um, I'm kind of lost. I said that to her, and she said that if you find very interested when you read the books, I think you should push harder to, engage more in class, and, contribute more in class, so that you can, build connection, and you can, after like building a connection, you could understand other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I pushed myself, and for the second year, it was lockdown.
Oh, okay, I got it.
And things got very easy,
Uh-huh.
honestly. It's a open book exam, and you don't need to learn that much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was lockdown, and I got more confidence in my field. And for the last semester of my bachelor, the school were reopened, and we go to college physically and attend the class. We had exams physically, and it was so tough. I need to reconnect with old self.
Mm-hmm.
So it was last semester was kind of hard, but I like how it went and how it gave me a challenge to push myself further.
Mm-hmm.
So during when after finishing this one first year, I had a thought that we need a person, or we need an organization as a bigger to give awareness in our Tibetan school about mental health, about psychology as a course, because I'm not aware about these topics when I was in school. So this gave me so much confidence to start a Chisem.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought if I start this organization, uh, I think I will get a person to, support me, because I believe that there are students who wants to do more, to give more to the community,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because our community gave so much to us. So we
Mm-hmm.
need to give something back. And I thought that I will get support from students like me. And I just started. And for the
Mm-hmm.
best thing, I got huge support from my friends and uh, the students who are interested in this organization. So yeah, that's how
Mm-hmm.
I started.
Mm-hmm. And then, can you tell a little bit about like, okay, so you wanted more awareness within the Tibetan community, within like Pukim Lapta, right? But
Hmm.
so that that reason came from your own experience, right? So 그래, the social anxiety and take the 하마고 like 컨디스 요 통마싱라 because of
Hmm.
that, right?
Hmm.
What motivated you, I guess, or like to like actually start it? Like somewhat but then what was the transition like from motivation to an idea to actually doing the work? Can you talk a little bit about that? Because a lot of people have ideas, right? A lot of people have ideas, right? But some of them have very little action, right? So can you talk a little bit about that?
So I started GSM when I was doing my final semester,
Mm-hmm.
uh, bachelor.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't ask my uncle that I'm starting this organization. Since my parents are in Tibet, my uncle is like my parents. So
Mm-hmm.
I should ask him before, starting something huge. But
Mm-hmm.
I didn't ask him, and I simply started because I thought there are students who wants to contribute to the community.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I told one of my uncle, not the main one.
Yeah.
He's like my brother. So I told him that I'm starting this organization, and I remember him mentioning that it must be too early for you to start something,
He said that to
because
you?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because in our Tibetan community, people used to judge you if you started showing off in the in society,
Mm-hmm.
지저직나 된디건발라 아니 믿은 적이 가래 that feel like they are ready to point you even if found mistake. So he was little concerned about that, but I thought that even like right now I'm studying psychology, right? So I'm in touch with many books, and uh, I'm more connected to resources for the
Mm-hmm.
mental health, for the psychology. So I thought that it couldn't be too early for me to start. If you want to give back to the community. You don't have to like be on the top and to do something. Even if you are a student, you can do something, you know.
Mm.
Small things can make a huge change.
Mm.
So I thought like that and I just started.
Mm. Got it.
Mm.
And so it's been how many years? 3 years now? Right.
2 years.
2 years. Okay. So pretty new then, still.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's new.
Can you take us on the journey of the 2 years? What's been the highlights and also the challenges that you guys had to overcome and stuff?
So we were very honored when we started Chisem on 2022. We started Chisem in early 2022. So in May, I got contact from CTA Health
Mm-hmm.
Department, our government, and they were mentioning that they want to do an event on mental health. So if you guys, they knew about us and they were saying like, if you guys are happy to, you know, contribute on this to organize event on mental health, uh, you guys are most welcome. So I was very happy and honored, honestly, because our foundation is newly started and they have recognized our foundation. So obviously I said yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, and we collaborate with CTA Mental Health Desk.
Mm-hmm.
We organized this youth for mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Youth mental health matters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, youth mental health matters. So we organized this event in Majdugatila, Delhi,
Mm-hmm.
in June.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, on August 7, we organized that same event on Bangalore.
Mm-hmm. So can you
So yeah,
tell me a little bit about this event? Like, what do you do during the event? I've seen the video, but just for our audience, what do you do during this event? And then, like, who was there? I know, Kinzumda was there, right? In one of your, one of the events, right? Yeah.
right, right. So like the aim of this event is to focus on the mental health of youth, our youth, you know. So we had we don't want to, you know, uh, invite like resource and speak throughout the program because
Mm.
we knew our youth, they don't want to listen that much.
They'll get bored.
So yeah, they will get bored. They won't pay attention, obviously. So we invited only two guests who are professor, and I think the second Indian was working in some NGO for the mental health. And she's a counselor or something like that, but I don't remember that much. I'm so sorry for that. And we requested a few students to act a drama. We have two script drama based on our society, you know, how people take their mental health. And I will tell you one story, like one story of one drama that we played on that
Mhm.
day. So we have like students who play a role. Uh, there were one student who took a gap year. So for us, we might take growth year or gap year at any time. So, but people used to, you know, people in that community used to push that person without thinking about at his side.
Mhm.
So we convince message that, you know, that person has their own dreams that they want to do. And people used to, you know, judge, and people used to say mean words for them. Like, you know, kino pomo kachirta thante nangla de the kagu shim the ni pomo the lofta dore, ni pomo the master dore, tensare doya. And mangbule the chiza nangla. For that particular student, I think Koranzogi mental health the effect peti re samgidura, and it will demotivate them to, you know, do further. and kunzu kalore semba kyo sire kuranzu da kalor semba kyo mambushina depression do na sire and kanya mambuti sira ani ondi tanga drama jing na no like the message di convey share ji dong azo drama ro stabria ani ngazo shimba we have two students who recite a poem which was written by students on their mental health. And we arrange activities based on like based on emotions, feelings, to know more about yourself. Penashana game chik khandiro erlana self compassion talk lanara khajelana the shugu jigare diganglas kisi kerangla the misama everything has something or another, like everything is everyone is going in something and the kisi ngado ena master sazane ta khache yin leds it's a big question for me. It's kerangi dito la samna dang diom ba pressure pe sorkidara ani mondi ta it's a challenge for you. So for example, if I'm playing that game, I will write about my challenge and how you gonna kola takalor somebody share langa zigi tsi yakpo khari lai think yourself as other person and write a message to him or her on those activity logo mangbo organize chire
미 그래 그래 샴바도 어디 가신 저거 like for example why do you have to give yourself advice or like use words and imagine as if you're someone else so that's saying that you're kinder to other people a little bit, right? Or sometimes is that it?
No like I don't know it's only Tibetan or not. We don't used to think ourselves that much. In our religion, in our culture, we brought up to be kind to others. Manzo jinjini ya chalong chidi gombala da khalore nangshu yenere changmagi highlight khayorlana mission bala semba sangbo chigores semba sangbo chin sele kyu chungire dendera angazo gi pheba mangche nga khariro thongilana they don't express themselves and kurang zola kangye jik thene susula simso tanga kale khak pu che ro jigya ya tanga la kale khak pu ro chane ta ngazo game dikhajin serlana te kurang kangye thi kurang aji kangye di mission ba jil thina you will give more positive words and kurang gi mission bala jik samadan legena an ngazo gi yi jik thiyo ene message ringa do da more heart touching thi thi re samgedara and so you cannot I think you cannot express that much as you want.
And you guys have done other events too, right? Like the Tibet Fest, right, and stuff. And then obviously you guys have a podcast talk show as well. Can you talk about those things as well and any other things that you guys do?
So we always try to organize two big events physically like in 2022 we organized youth mental health awareness, and in 2023 we organized self-love event in April in Majdugatila. So the main object of this event is to practice self-love, which can improve your self-esteem and aware of your strength, and treating our mental health and ourselves nicely. What our team and we observe in our Tibetan youth is that we have very low self-esteem. I don't know in abroad, but here in India, we Tibetan students have very low self-esteem, and we have very low confidence. We don't initiate that much. So from this event, we want to, motivate other students to learn about yourself and when you know about yourself, you want to do something for other.
Can you connect that too for me? How is that? So 수수수 양 모싱나 mila khajine robo manga chiris. Why can you bridge that connection for me? Why?
Um, I think like if you know about yourself more, you will
Mm,
gain confidence. And
mm,
when you gain confidence, when you go to in social, like in a group, if you have that inner confidence, you will speak if you want. You won't
mm,
sit back and shy, you
mhm,
know. You will initiate more in the group.
mhm. I see. Okay.
So the self-esteem has raised, and you won't be that much conscious about yourself when you speak or when you initiate in a group. So I think like it's linked between you and how much you want to contribute in the group or in the community also.
Mhm. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Ani ta shimba khachilana in 2023 we organized self-love event, and in October 7 we organized Tibet Youth Fest.
mm,
Once Tibetan Youth Fest the khachina organized chilana, we used to go to Indian college, and we notice students don't understand about us, and there are students who don't know nothing about the Tibet. And when I say I'm from Tibet, they used to think that I'm from Northeast, some side of Indian. So observing that, we want to promote our culture, our Tibet, advocate what is Tibet in
mm,
like in Delhi
mm.
audience, like the Indian or audience. So we collaborate with GTSU. Have you heard about
No.
that? Global Tibetan Student Union.
Oh, I've heard of them. Yep.
They
I've heard of them. Yep.
they used to help for the uh, freshers to join college for the
Mm-hmm.
admission. They're like a admission helper who
Mm,
can guide to how to apply for the college and this thing. So we collaborate with them to organize Tibet Youth Fest, and it went super well.
mm,
And recently on October 10th, it was World Mental Health Day, so we started About Me podcast,
yeah.
and we used to upload a brief about psychological disorders
Mm-hmm.
to spread more awareness about the psychological disorder, because there are many stigma in our society about the
Mm-hmm.
mental health.
Mm-hmm.
So we used to organize open discussion among the students, mostly among the students. We don't used to call outsider or elder ones to coordinate the open discussion. We just called only students who wants to participate, and we express our feelings, and uh, we used to practice like through uh, sharing each other's story.
Mm-hmm.
We used to connect and we used to learn.
Mm.
Yeah, these are the things that we are doing
That's a
and we
lot.
want to do. Thank you.
It's great. Um, and how big is your team?
Honestly, it's not big.
Uh-huh.
Um, most of our teams are here in Delhi.
Mm-hmm.
So we have um, one student in Bangalore
Mm-hmm.
and one student in Sera. He's
Mm.
a monk.
No.
So, yeah, we have I think 8 members.
Wow. And 8 members is doing all of this. T Tell me why do you think there was a need for to start the About Me podcast? And do you think tell me your thoughts on having a like an online form, right? Podcast, something like that, versus having the impact of an in-person event.
Mhm. when we started About Me podcast, uh, it was very like long-term dream for our Chisem. We want to start it, but lack of the equipment that we need, we pushed till now. And recently we started, and our aim is to normalize to talk about mental health, our feelings, emotions, and inside you.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that sharing your stories and sharing your journey will motivate other people um, who are staying there. Um, we can motivate them to do better
Mm-hmm.
in every field.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just started uh, About Me.
Mm. Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, of course, but it's a lot of work.
Is it more than in-person events for you or no?
Yeah, it's a we aim to keep it in person,
Mm.
because when you meet person face to face,
Yeah.
you could connect more. And I I I cannot express that much as I want, but when you meet the person in person and virtually, it's kind of different. Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
the vibe is different,
Mm-hmm.
and everything is different.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, we want to reach abroad,
Yeah.
like through Zoom, we can do something like this.
Yeah.
But right now, we keep it as face to face.
Yeah. So is it difficult getting guests? Is that one of the problems because you're doing or trying to do all in person?
Yeah, it's not that hard to get a guess,
Mm-hmm.
but it's very hard to get a youth, especially boys, to
Really?
contribute in our class. Yeah, if
Why?
you observe, if you observe well in our video, all of our guests are in female.
Oh, Jet Gunjo.
That Concho was long time ago.
But that's not part of the podcast?
No, no, no.
Mm, I
Yeah,
see.
like I think it's because in psychology field there are more females and
Mm,
less number of boys.
mm,
So in our team we have more number of girls and less number of boys. So people people or like boys, they might not find comfortable to initiate
mm, yeah.
in a group. So yeah, we are trying
And,
to reach more.
and I think that's a community-wide, society-wide problem. Like, I think boys, guys in general are more distant from their feelings. 太징하도 or
Mm.
they're like afraid to be vulnerable, right? Because I feel like they've been taught to be strong, not cry, not show emotions. Right? Um, I think that may be a part of it, and that has obviously consequences for your entire life when you don't face your emotions, right? 반냄새나 육새나 서로 육새나 여라 디기 냥가 망보여라 아직 남서 룽초다 남서 그래 frustrate chachocho or like depression, whatever it may be, it has all those consequences. And then what you said about in person, I completely agree. My in-person conversations are like so much better. They're very awkward in the beginning. They're more awkward in the beginning, right, than compared to online. But then, I don't know, once you overcome that awkwardness, you just connect more with the person, right? Like you're eye to eye, and just they feel more comfortable. You feel more comfortable. So I share more, they share more. So it makes I think in person makes a huge difference for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good point. Like, boys are taught to be strong and not cry.
Yeah.
And for the podcast, it is mostly video orientated.
Hmm.
So people might think like, other person might judge me
Mhm.
if I participate in this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Are you always trying to find people with
No, no, no.
no, you're not trying to find people
Well,
with extreme stories, no? Mara.
no.
No,
I believe that each of us has a story to share.
exactly. Yeah. Every
Yeah,
single one of us has gone over or going through some sort of mental health problem, right?
because
So
we are human.
exactly. So
Yeah.
what about the 부디 그래 나올라 인터뷰 중에 부디 고민 그래? 저 huh?
Norbu, Norbu.
Oh,
Norbu, yeah.
why don't you interview him as your first boy guest? Does he not want to?
Yes. We have talked to him to, you know, be part in the video. So he was like, I'm the only boy. He's the only boy in our team.
Oh.
So I'm the only boy. How are you gonna do that?
Yeah.
Of course, he's very initiative.
Hmm.
So for sure, we will interview for him one
Yeah.
day.
But later on.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
He knew that we are going to interview him.
okay, he's got it. He's ready. He's preparing. Yeah.
Uh,
And well, what about you? You are usually the one interviewing, and you don't get to share your mental health story too much. Oh, if you're comfortable, what is your mental health story?
uh, luckily, I was not in critical condition. Uh, of course, I have stress for my career. When I think about my life, I feel tired. And since I was not with my parents when I was small,
Mm-hmm.
so it's kind of hard to, um, manage everything by yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I'm fortunate and I'm glad that I haven't spent that much time with my parents because in this journey I have learned a lot about myself
Mm-hmm.
and I gained a lot of confidence
Mm-hmm.
and I learned a lot of things like cooking, washing clothes. I can
Mm-hmm.
manage everything by myself.
Mm-hmm. What do you cook?
So I cook. Mm, I'm interested in cook. Uh, During the lockdown, I tried many new recipes like Korean chicken fried and thukpa. That's the usual thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
got it.
I cook
Um,
mostly foods.
Asian foods? Oh. In dal da indigo man.
Yeah,
No? No?
yeah, I can make. It's
Okay,
very
okay.
easy.
It's so
You know,
easy. Dal is the easiest. Yeah. But kashi dindi chagda kare bugim lapjala do dene deda sa dene yanja bugim lapjala tensane deda küne me langin jing isang pongyoda.
rare.
Yeah.
For me, not like that. I stay in hostel during my
Mm-hmm.
first year of master. I got fed up with Indian meal.
Mm, got it. Yeah.
And like when I eat rice and dal, I'm okay. But I
Mm,
cannot eat other Indian food like,
mm,
rice and all of this.
mhm. I so you said something about how okay, Tibetans in like the India community, ra, and young
Mhm.
Tibetans, and then obviously, I think this is a generalization, right? But I think girls are have maybe lower self-esteem or lower confidence, ra, than guys,
Hmm.
maybe, ra. But in general, the Tibetan community in India has low self-confidence and low self-esteem, right? I don't think that's necessarily a problem in America, RG. Yeah, I think we have pretty good confidence, but we have other problems. So one of the problems is this internal conflict. Yeah. 치기 룩스 치고래, 베베 룩스 치고래. 자, so that internal cultural confident identity, right, is something that we're constantly battling inside, I think. And then, for example, and it disturbs the family as well because let's say you wanna to give a small example, if we want to go sleep over at a friend's house, right? The Luxury 지당 먼저 베베 룩스나 메시지다 니다 되가 없으라. But then the 인지 룩스리 저다 도구 파주 냥 나냐도 라 아니 바람나기 님도 축보 쇼도 지기라 라 띵도 베베 룩스 말다 란라 안 보든 저 니 저거 창마 두고 도와란 라 and when you feel that, right, then you hear like 베베 룩스, right, then there's like, oh yeah, okay, I don't want to be Tibetan. There's a little bit of that. When you're smaller, I don't want to be Tibetan, right? I don't want to go to Tibetan Sunday school as your Sanjulapta. Yeah. Ours is only 2 hours, but other areas are like 4 or 5 hours. They're a little bit longer. Yeah. But then only for 2 to 5 hours per week do we get together in a Tibetan community. Yeah. So even those 2 hours, a lot of kids are like, no, I don't want to go. Right? They don't feel good about it, or they feel bored, or they feel like it's a waste of time, right? Um, and that continues, I believe, continues in high school as well for many kids. It's forced upon them. Once they become in once they become college students or older, I think it changes a little bit, right? Now they're searching for an identity. Now they're searching for a community. They do more reflection, right? I know a lot of kids now who didn't study Tibetan during Tibetan Sunday school, but now are studying Tibetan now. And during now they just started working or just in college, right? So that's, I think, one of the problems in our Tibetan community in America. Yeah, which is a little different from the problem in Tibetan community in India, because obviously the Tibetan community in India is much closer. Yeah.
Yeah. I think like I can relate
Mhm.
what you have shared. Nima like nga Jinju Kabla, I was grew up in a monastery, every winter vacation I used to go to monastery because my uncle is there.
Mhm.
So we had coaching classes where monks they used to teach us Tibetan and Sumtak Nyenga, Sumtak Nyenga, and we always get bored
Yeah.
of attending classes because it's so like disciplined and you have to learn a lot. And kailan ngakto simepe mambo yore, kailan gongse dangalle de yi dangalle lejiya.
Yeah.
Any like once a week we have a nangchong ote.
Mhm.
I used to sit at the back and I used to paint without word. Nangchilana ye kalori gonyok podo da 진지갑라 인데 틱 축부로 비즈당데 고마치라 any interest 야지가 the inang like after I joined college I find Namchi as a very interesting topic ngarang kalore kongse khadirane whenever I get vacation whenever I get free I used to learn Namchi from my uncle. I think it changes
Yeah.
when you grow up.
Yeah. Why do you find Nangchu interesting?
Nangshi is very fascinating, honestly.
Yeah.
Since I'm studying psychology and in late 80s, they started recognizing psychology and human thinking, perspective, personality. But our Nangshi is way back than that. Long like they have elaborate everything very detailed without any research, and everything is there and everything is crystal clear. So nangshe jangdi kerang la whenever you get problem, you try to think in bigger side and samla dangde kya chimpu do chaida. Mondi chimpu be thongso and nangshe is very realistic. 아니 장대 건발 relate 지도이도 아니 your inner strength is building up when you learn Nangche with passion. So yeah.
Nima kare dawa khashis ni larda I had a good fortune ra kare 경험지
Mhm.
ja shue jin 경험지 inner strength 거라 지식이었다. And I
Mhm.
was like, that was inner strength and kogora, inner strength like kariris, right? What is inner strength, right? And then it's exactly what it is. It's inner strength, right? Like like I have a vivid imagination. So I imagine it like a shield inside of you. Right. So
Mhm.
독자 칼이 중나여라. That shield protects you, right? It's like you can overcome challenges better, right? Let's say recent or like last year my I got in a car accident. 모르는 accident로 총사 준주식. 근데 랑기 공유그라다 든 모르서가 door insurance 든도 계제 샤워라 미디 샴푸님 되어줘라. But then if you have the inner strength, you'll be like, okay, I can get over this, and you take it one step at a time. I think that's inner strength, right? Being able to overcome challenges better. Yeah.
I was can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
You've been asking questions to me.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was watching your interviews in Peja podcast, and I heard that you've been to Missouri for 1.5 years,
Yep.
right? So yeah, I want to ask you that, how was your experience there in Missouri school, and how do you find the difference between Tibetan school and the state school?
um, First, I'll talk from like a mental health perspective, right? Because that's what this conversation's about. Um, I know 1000% at Masuri homes, there's students, young Tibetan students that have gone through much, much, much worse than I have, right? They had to leave their parents, like you, right? They had to grow up without parents. They had to grow out without that warmth, right? And Masuri gets cold. Masuri gets cold. So
Yeah.
I want to mention that I have that perspective now, right? When I'm older, I have that perspective now. Yeah. And I actually think about them, right? Whenever I'm like feeling like, oh, I'm like I want to give up, right? Or even like small things like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym today, or I don't want to study today. And I think about
Mhm.
them. Right. I think about the stories that they tell me. Right. Oh, 나는 유혹해서 콘솔이 난 튕겨더라. 너 죽어버렸다. But then I remember the older kids telling me, Troop, you're so lucky. Right. 아니, 그것은 상관. 그냥 치킨내 이용을 달라는 이라. 인도신 대시기를 아니 코랑 콘솔이 누구 대시. I remember it vividly. Right.
Mhm.
It's so I find strength from my experience from Masuri. Yeah. Masuri overall was one of the best decisions my parents made for me. I'm truly grateful for both of them. One reason, during the time, not many people did it. People in America were worried that their kids wouldn't learn English, right? So 부위여라 낭매당스, 부위낭 부위는 낭아 장초월에는 얘라 인지기에 먼저 우든 소여라 제승기면 두든,
Mhm.
but now that's flipped, right? 인지게다 코인의 정도도 모든 인지게 무슨 또 벽에 장애의 계정 now it's flipped, right? So they sent me to Masuri for 2 years, right? So that was a difficult decision on their part, and it was super beneficial because I had that experience. I was surrounded by kids who are so strong, right? So internally strong. Yes, they might be
Mhm.
going through mental health stuff by themselves, but like that's normal, especially for what they've gone through, what they've gone through. Um, so, and secondly, the pöwing owola jigyora, odi
Mhm.
pala jigsokta soyorisangud. I think there was an imprint that
Mhm.
was left upon me about being Tibetan, about my Tibetan identity from that 2 years of experience. Right?
Mhm.
In 2 years, I don't think I learned that much Tibetan. I don't think I learned that much 벽에다 벽이 야구시다 싱유
Mhm.
삼금은도라 롱이나 라 그냥 지 박사직 this. But being away from parents is like it was like I was dropped off. I didn't have a warning. 인연이라 저지체는 게 영어 지금 다른 게 하루 되었다 하느니라 라바라 이게 영어다 인디게 영어도 호도만 유스라 아니야 파사자질라 그래 나가 디르다 nga sode chimbur nga chungji na ande nga kimsa na ande ma khaji nga ponzo pingge ji Um, so I was very lucky. Right. But then I was just dropped off. No warning. When I wake up the next morning, I remember my pala wasn't there. Right. So it was a shock, right? And then just overcoming that, and like Masuri gets cold and dark, right, very quickly. And I was away on the other side of the room, right? And my relatives were on the other side of the room. Thankfully I was in the Chisham. They made me live in the Chisham.
최강.
Chogang, one the Chogang. Yeah. And but it was very, I don't know, lonely sometimes. Yeah, lonely. They wouldn't let me go out and play like after very dark, or like wouldn't let me um go and play on like the weekends too much. So, but and I remember, like I said, it was scary, it was lonely, and sometimes ra, nga 친구가 없어 친구 shodo yung ngi 친구 당한 동말 kasi shene ra. Ang ngi na 친구 당한 chin. Ra. Yeah.
Yeah.
And 속담세. Yeah. And there was up to a point I remember uh my relatives, I wanted to sleep with them. I wanted to sleep in the same bed as them. But then they were like, and I asked them, they were like, no, 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 just sleep in your bed. It's okay. Right. And 전부 다 항상 해줘요. But I remember all of that. But school wise, because it's sort of a boarding school, I think kids there are closer, I think, in a way. They get closer to one another, right? Uh, and it's less serious. I mean, we were kids back then, right? But still, I think it was less serious. Here, there's a pressure of like, okay, getting to a good college, getting a good, picking your major, and then getting a good job, and all of that pressure I think builds in like high school and stuff like that, and it trickles down. Oh, you have to be very good at sports. It's more of like a playing sports and stuff is sort of like a mandatory rather than just passion. Passion this is the yoshra. So I think that's the difference. It's much more simpler, and there's pros and cons to that lifestyle, right? Like you said, in our Tibetan community, we don't talk about mental health that much. Right, we don't talk about it's weird. Nga sama mong butang yun dati ko la, ra. Nga nangchula tis teba yorta. And nangchula teba kesa ti ngi sama dungi mong bukia and chik tseo ra. I need to find the solution, right? And nangchula was a solution for me. Uh, but it's weird. Even though nangchula is so prevalent in our community, mental health isn't, right?
Yeah.
Do you not find that weird?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's so weird.
yeah.
Interesting.
Mhm. I don't know. I think I would love to know your thoughts about it, but I think it's because mental like 낭쉐여랑 또 지수가 다르디여 약보를 쓴 것들아. Like, for example, our community is much more kind, more compassionate than other communities, right? What other culture says bumasel and lemsa korea de aridin la ta yara karaji buduma do de yara hangopi and kunzo they try to like, smash it, right? We don't have that. So those sort of like behaviors is ingrained within us. It's like habit, right? But then other things like the things that you're talking about, right? Mental health, people going through things, that's not common yet.
Because I think Nangju very much highlight to be kind to others.
Mm,
Any Nangju nanglo la kalore susu la they don't mention about love yourself, self-awareness.
mhm,
They don't highlight much. We neglect
mm,
in space.
yeah.
And nganzo jito la stigma yang mangbuyore. And if there's one person who behave abnormally, people used to call that person as kunyong parisha, And
Mm,
they don't
yeah.
understand. They don't try to understand, and they don't understand.
Mm. Do you
Mm.
think we're getting better at that as a community?
Yeah, I
Mhm,
think after lockdown,
mhm,
our door has opened
mhm,
to talk about mental health.
mhm,
In like examining chiyong ne mental health ta focus te na mang ro do ra.
mhm,
When
mhm,
she tang az people te nang le be, I think the awareness has raised a lot.
mhm, mhm. Why do you think that is? Because like people are facing their own mental health because of lockdown? Is that why?
Mm, during lockdown, people have nothing to do and they get time, right?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
get time and they get time to reflect on their life, their past
Mm,
life. And from the past life, last time not on and they find their what to say, their hard things and their challenging
mhm,
period
mhm,
which have ignored
mhm,
for so long.
mhm,
Any 저기 mental health la focus chi ko gimje khar samgit lana it's like a drop of rain on the
mhm.
stone. So phi tambi chigna ya to la chuti pasa dina do igong bi le jiga. It's make
Slowly you can make a hole. Mhm,
so kram mize nanglo la dungi sangma ki nanglo la sha china it's like a drop of water to your heart. Any disasa mambu cha and it make a hole inside you.
mhm.
No?
这是养不得的。
Ani kran nangla whole chikchana you feel miss something. Ani kran gi jinji denzo factor jinji denzo nangme dane ani ta chimbu chaza di shine awareness le do ya.
Yeah.
And it the based on other story where people used to recognize their weaknesses and
Mm,
their challenging.
got it.
Lockdown kabla mi sangma nang lai di therapy dead or the all of these topics has rised and it's like a
Mm,
trending
mm,
Dora. Ani the mi den zogi oh therapy lene it can help.
mm,
I think in our Tibetan community there are lot of stigma on consulting to the therapist or counseling.
yeah.
Kaji- Mm, I observe and I ask many students if they have taken a therapy session, and 99% is no.
Mhm,
And they were like, I don't have that much mental health challenge as of now, and I'm not going to, consult someone to help.
mhm,
So what they 저기 신경 망제 카리스마기 들라나 다 그냥 like 강에 유슈 침부 때나마도야 therapy 랭고 메겨로야
mhm,
엔디로 consider 지다.
yeah. But therapy is more like it's like exercise, right? You do it on a daily basis or like consistently before and it prepares you better, right?
Therapy lana 엔디로 some therapy as a counselor doinerera 그런 저기 칼로레 it's helps you to keep your life on the right track.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
미미스 망보베 충기래 강에 망보 용기래 아니 you need to maintain your relationship, you need to build your career, you need
Mm-hmm.
to Pama proud story. You have many burden on yourself. So if you go to therapy or counselor,
Mm-hmm.
they will, by talking to them, they will raise your awareness in other field that 그런 미신박이 something이나 그런 like awareness mga lira.
Mm-hmm.
So it will help you to build a better life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
gitu.
Mm. 그래, 단다, I think, let me know your thoughts on this, but I think, so
Mhm.
what the beauty of therapy and counseling is the same as, or similar to meditation or journaling, right? People naturally have a very difficult time converting what they're feeling into words, right? And communicating that, right? When you put it into words, what happens is that it becomes more concrete, right? 오늘도 차워다 랍투나라 소화되다 독자도 차블여라. Okay, it's anxious or it's sad, right? So that makes it even more clear, right? It makes it more HD. Once you, it's like you said, it's about learning more about yourself is very important, right? That's one of the first steps. And that's what therapy does because it asks you specific questions, right? It digs deep. Okay. It asks broad, right? Then it gives deeper, 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 right? Until you have a clear reason why you're feeling a certain way or clear reasons, plural, right? So I think that's the beauty. It helps you communicate what you're feeling and makes you aware of what you're feeling. And I think that's the beauty because once you're aware, half of the problem is done. Right? 그래, 동의된 바디, 된 바시나 동의된 바디 찾으라. Once you communicate it, right? And that's the first step. You need to know what the problem is and where it's coming from, right? 된 바 찾아라. 아니,
Right, right.
so I think that's like half the problem there, and that's the beauty of therapy. Then 나같이 해야 돼. 또 망치랑 수수초랑 깔리기라. The therapist or they give you the strategies. Okay, do these things or whatever, right? But at the end of the day, right, you have to do it. But half the battle is done if you're able to communicate it and understand what you're feeling. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So we talked a
그럼
lot about. Oh, 나다.
you can continue. I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
막 걔랑 지워 심어 그래.
아, 대화 샴바요야.
If you want to continue on that topic, you can carry on. After
No,
that,
it's
I will
okay.
ask.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
No?
Go ahead.
Um, I think you have mentioned that, but I will ask more to give more clarify. Okay. Kaya sambala kalore gyaga nanglola dingi gi phepadang. Like I'm focusing on Tibetan youth. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
gyaga nanglola dingi phepadang. Chige la salong chungu gi pheba. Pero la major difference kari thongido.
Mm-hmm. Major difference number one, cultural differences, right? Like chitang behavior, luksu, ra, it's completely different. That's something that we have to be very careful with, right? We have to be alliance, right? We have to be 족보, right? With chigebu, right? Gyabu in okay, chigebu 등생 gyabu 등생도, right? Because that's something I saw at so I went to Sara summer camp, right? And just being there, there's a division right, between Aripu and then Pasara La Lobjutunso, right? The Sara College student. There's a division, a clear division. Of course, there's some of us become friends, right? But there's still a division, and I think I don't know, right? But they might see us, oh, these privileged people, they're just here for a month or two, whatever. And then us, right? They put us in a different house. They put us with a house with AC, with I don't think there's Wi-Fi anymore, but when I went there was Wi-Fi, right? There's bathroom in our own dorms, right? Where the side Lobjus, right? The college students, they had to share bathrooms, right? They didn't have AC.
I've seen their room.
Huh?
I've seen their room.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
there's a big difference there, right? So we have to make more friends. I think this is the beauty of like Zoom, even though like we can meet in person. Of course, one day we will, right? But then you and I become friends, right? And then me and another person become friends, right? And I think that's super important because cuma 근데 차 디스 년가 두슨 것도 라 초가 숨나 신 차 년가 두슨 것도 라 I think there's a little bit
Right.
of risk in that, so we have to be careful about that, right? Where there's okay, 갸 배우든지 야 요리스라, and 지게 보든 지게 배우든지 야 요리스, right? So I think we have to focus. We have to focus on our commonality, right? What makes like 150,000 of us in Ginger more similar than different, right? But there are differences. Like I said, Tibetan kids in America are a little bit more confident. But Tibetans in India are more, I think, Tibetan, whatever that means. Right? Right? 별별 씨가 따든서 망해요. Right? But I think if Tibetans in America are able to find their Tibetan identity, they will do a lot for our Tibetan cause, I think. One, they have opportunity, right? If they make most of their opportunity, right? I think they'll do good. So I have hope in my Tibetan Americans, and I know you have the same hope for Tibetans in India. I don't know. How about you? What do you think are the differences? Have you, yeah.
Hmm, I think like even in Tibetan in India, we
Mm,
used to discriminate between TCV students and Masuri homes and students who study in Indian school.
mhm,
So yeah, I think we are like lacking in connection between each other. Like you
mhm,
said, Chekosumdo problem TC do yeah. So there are a lot of discrimination between ourselves. So I think it's very important to build a connection between us, American Tibetan, TCB students, Masuri homes, and students who study in Indian school. I
mhm.
find difference between TCB students, Masuri home students, and between students who attend Indian school also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Uh, you can like when you meet group of students who are from different environment, you will notice very easily.
Mhm,
Yeah. And here in India, like students who went to Indian school
mhm,
from elementary or high school, they are more initiative, they are more confident. So TCV students, they are
mhm,
very like they're shy, they have
mhm.
a low confidence. And Masuri homes, they are very like kunzu go tumbudo yare.
Yeah.
Karini like right. And it oh yeah. The nganzo delayang environment jinji logo yara.
Mhm,
Nganzo easily we can find difference between us, and we used to discriminate whenever we go, like nganzo TCV you know it's not a good thing, honestly.
mhm,
So yeah, like shaza china digure now.
mhm,
Chiso jing we all are Tibetan. We need to do something for Tibetan. We need
mhm,
to be united. And so, for example, I'm in college, right?
mhm,
In my college, there are many South Indian students.
mhm,
They are very united when they
mhm,
organize something.
mhm.
So I want that spirit in our Tibetan students as
Yeah,
well.
exactly.
So yeah, pepa nangla la nga chik chena OTC bu chiore yana masiri bu jina masiri bu manga ketangor la do ya.
Mhm.
They don't open up to other students.
Yeah,
So yeah, we just need to build more connection between ourselves.
exactly. And I think we need to build more connection between these young groups started by Tibetan young Tibetans, whether it be Chisem and Puja, or then there's more. There's other groups, right? There's a group called Sunza. Galdanamgira, Ngoshingira. Oh
No.
no, okay, sorry. It's Sunza, and then there's this another organization called Rokpa, right? I think there's needs to be more connection between us two, because in there 단다다 you're some but then some competition to 서로 유나면 some good 파츠라. I think that's something we have to be careful about, right? I think there's something that I have a list of all these young Tibetan organizations, right? I have a list, a spreadsheet now. You, Chisimda you, and one of there's like okay kunzo follower kazu yoris ratanda ni chigeta to the date, and then who is it run by, right? And then then the question I ask for all of them is what can Puja learn from them, right? That's the question I
Mm,
ask, right? And that's why I stalk everyone, because what can Puja learn from these guys? These guys are having success, right? And these people are inspiring. All of them are volunteers basically, right? So why would, let's say for you, 8 other people, right? Or 7 other people will work for free. That in itself is amazing. So I think about all of these things, and I think there needs to be more connection between all of us too. Yeah.
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 And like in future, I hope the government, our government will organize such event that we all can gather together and brainstorm our ideas to
But
initiate more in our city.
that would be amazing. That would be amazing, right? But let's start it now. Let's go on a Zoom call, all of these different organizations, right? Rang yarn a list and we'll just have like a brainstorming session, right? Or meeting one another. But just meeting one another. That'd be, I think, really
Connect
cool.
each other.
Connect with it. Let's do it, okay?
I
All right, let's make it happen. All right. Do you have any other questions for me, or is that it?
Mm, so I want to ask, I'm very curious about one thing. That is, what is the major difficulties of American Tibetan, and how we Chisem could help you guys? It could be
Mm.
anything. As a Tibetan.
So I was thinking about this, right? Not from like a, yeah, I was thinking about this. Is it okay if I give some like my thoughts about Chisem, right? It's okay?
Sure. Mhm.
You guys have probably already thought about this, but an episode or two in English, wow, episode or two in English, it would be amazing. 사실 단어 벽에 라서 딱 넣어진 게 이게도다. But I feel like even for a few, it's a little bit too difficult sometimes, 라. 사실 벽에 찍든도 책사를 나눠서 축부라 벽에나 딱 넣어진 게 이게도 흘려진 게 이게도라. But it's still like very rich in vocabulary. So I think that might be a little barrier. Um, I think that would be good. And just, yeah, I think just like you coming on Peugeot, that would be good uh for Tibetans in America to know about Jism, right? Because I don't. Well, what is the demographic like from like people who watch your podcast? Is it mostly India, or what is it like split? Like what's the age range and stuff?
I haven't checked on that honestly,
Okay.
and I think our audience are from Indian mostly, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be very helpful, right? Um, yeah. And then, but
Yeah,
you guys
for
are, mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. And then one things that like you guys are very story based right now. You're it's like you bring on a guest for have them share your experience, right?
Mhm.
One thing you guys can do, just an idea. Have you heard of Andrew Huberman?
Mhm.
No.
No.
He has one of the biggest podcasts in the world. He's a professor at Stanford University in California, one of the best colleges in America. He's a neuroscientist. And then his podcast, he does research on neuroscience, right? Let's say how does sleep affect the brain, or how to have effective sleep, right? Then he does research. Then he does just talks, right? But people find that so entertaining because it has science backed onto it, right? So it's called How to Build a Life You Want, right? It's by Arthur Brooks and Oprah Winfrey. Oprah and King.
Oprah, I have heard about him.
Yeah. So Arthur Brooks 경험제 템 홍보지에서 경험제여라 작답 상말론 용사 그랑 yeah. He says the getting happier 끼워 대화 it's an art and science, right? So right now you guys have the art storytelling making 염용다든지 but now if you can bring science into it, right? So 탭 망불롱요 research 망불충요 then if you do an episode just you or like a friend um summarizing research and doing it in a easy way, I think that'll be helpful for us Tibetans in America as well because we like to see evidence. Yeah, stories are good too. But then if you add the science to it, numbers to it, then I think if that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, listen to an Andrew Huberman podcast. But I think if you do it like one episode like that and see how it goes, I think it would be good. Yeah. And then more reels, more reels. As reels
Okay.
되기도. Yeah.
So you want us to speak in English when we do interview to other people. We try to focus on Tibetan audience, and we are trying to collect more team members who can work on subtitles. So
Mm,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. That'd be
Yeah.
helpful. Yeah. And then maybe the science thing too would be helpful too. I think it'd be really cool if somebody did that, right? Summarize all the maybe Buddhist literature and also like Western literature, science literature, and say like, okay, here's scientifically, here's the 5 things you can do to improve your happiness. Right. That'd be amazing. Right. That'd be so cool. And you have like the psychology background, right? Huh?
Mhm. I try to do that.
Yeah. How about you? Do you have any feedback for us for Pitcha from what you've seen and stuff?
Uh, you guys are doing so much better for me,
What?
like, you know.
Candice?
No, you guys are doing better. And I really like the idea, like, I don't remember the exact date when I saw your podcast, like your team's podcast. I like the picture, the topic, the title you guys have made is very attractive. And I was like, how they could have thought about that
Mm,
picture. It's, it's showing you guys as a Tibet
yeah.
and one of identity of our Tibet. So I really like that. And you guys are trying to reach out to more audience. And you guys are, since you guys are speaking in English, um, it's very good for us to, be a consistent audience
Mm,
because since we are in India and we are in Tibetan community, we prefer English.
yeah.
And yeah, I think if you guys keep doing what you guys are doing, you guys will attract more a youth audience.
Yeah. Yeah.
And 맞아 youth la 팬더베 중기를 삼기도.
Thank you. And we're trying to level up our production right now because you guys, you get your camera setups and everything's so nice, right? And with the mics and stuff, right? So we're trying to set that up, right? But 조선 춤보다 안 되는 상황.
Right.
Yeah.
그래서 like 치기라랑 main 시야다. 걔가라 brunch 도 together.
branch 하나 간대송교. Like in per.
Like in person, like if yeah, people in your team in Delhi wants to interview to other students,
Mhm.
they can go with your team to get interview face to face.
Mhm. So 단다보다 Chisem podcast 가족들 episode ni 되는 숨 되는 숨라 ni rangi chira or
Mm,
chikchugo.
first one was I think I've done one.
Yeah. So just like you, right? Right now I'm doing pretty much all the podcast episodes, right? But we have a policy at Pija, right? And within our organization, it's an open platform, right? Meaning that everyone in our team member can create an episode if it's interesting and valuable. Right? So it's just that our team hasn't found the time to do it, right? But then every single person on our team can talk to someone interesting, right? I thought you were super interesting. I thought that Chisholm was super interesting, so I wanted to talk to you, right? Likewise, they can do the same thing, right? Of course, I will give them training on how to approach it, how to structure it, how to ask questions. Besides that, but they can have a conversation with pretty much whoever they like, right? 먼저 야가라 타는 먼저 로건이요, right? 자료다 유중초 지식 머신기를 먼저 들리려.
Yeah,
So
I know.
they, yeah. So if they wanted to do an episode, they can, right? But then it's very challenging to have all the equipment and stuff like that, right? But if they wanted to, absolutely they can. Same thing. Right now for Pija, we're expanding, right? So we brought in, I think, 6 more people. So now we're like 16 members now. Yeah. And it's like all over the place. Like in Canada, there's one in Belgium, I think. So all of them can do an episode. Yeah.
I think you guys need to push each other to do more interview.
Yeah. I, yeah.
Because our
이해해주고
Tibetan
싶.
youth all over the world.
Yeah, yeah. And do you think we need more youth people on the show? Young
Youth.
people? Youth like 쉔버든서 guest nashing.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because I think from youth we can learn more,
Mhm.
and we could build and youth tani mangbo shinge yore samgido.
Yeah.
And if you change the perspective of youth, they could contribute more to our society. And crowns with the jema chimbuchana, and crowns with jizo jignali re, crowns with pamache re, crowns with
Mhm.
bugi re.
Right.
It's a long term. It's like a long term goal. So, ngazo pepa jizo dibe yargi dura.
Mhm. Yeah.
Ngazo shingi la, opportunity ma yugote. In one reel, I have seen that, I think it's a red car model, something like
Mhm.
that. She mentioned that when you pass through the road,
Mhm.
how many red cars do you see usually? And
Mhm.
you cannot say the number, right? You might say like, I think 2, 3, and next day if I ask you to count every red car that you see on the road, and I will count every red car that I see when I pass by highway or road, right?
Mhm.
So it's like an opportunity.
Yeah.
If you don't run after the opportunity, you will miss the opportunity
Mhm.
there are run
Yeah.
throughout your life.
Yeah.
So yeah, ang anzu youth ni la focus chine youth mangbo la express chia da konzo la khoga mangbo dena. I believe that they have a lot of ability and a lot of creative ideas that they can contribute to the
Yeah.
society.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I think that's a good thing. Like we're seeing that you guys are amazing, Ra. Um, like you guys are all young people, and so is like Pija for the most part. There's other groups like we mentioned, right? And I think it's amazing. Like 순자 레기도 마음바 순자 레기다 마음바 순자 말다는 단들레기다는 yeah. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Hamo?
Mm,
Anything else you want to say
uh,
to our audience?
mm, I always try to convince our youth to contribute more to our society. It could be anything, for Tibet, you could do some kind work. In India, like we have Cancer Society and Karangi Jizo Nalatene Konsugi, like for most of the time they used to distribute free food for the people who needs, and you can go and volunteer, volunteer chine konzol that's how you take a step forward. Ani ngaju, I don't know in state Tibetan students, ngaju pheba gyaga nanglo yugyo khandiro yelana from the school, like kyan lopta genda jikchana. It's like a first step that you take to come up in the society. Tang azu genda jikchana jema college letter na yang chokpa dinde nang juye do da dinde ni ya step linger rosher. And so most of students, they don't get that opportunity, of course. In lopta jing nang lo like genda choose matam go mare lopta na mi khaji ra. And khunzu samba like I think the color system laure the dodan the ngazu pu mangbojik la. I think we are building low, not build, we are not helping them to build their confidence and self-esteem. They always used to think that we are not worth
Yeah.
to, taking that step or something like that. So I will always try to convince our youth to contribute more and to learn about yourself. Whenever you get free, try to search for the conference that is happening in your locality, and just go there and be attentive, and you can learn and you can meet new people, you can build connection, and when you build connection you will communicate with other people, right? So that's you improve yourself and how you learn about yourself. Mi mangbuji ngosingna mi mangbuji perspective mangbuji susula singira, so that you can start asking yourself a question, right?
Yeah.
And so Tibetan, you will know about yourself. And when you know about yourself, you want to contribute more on a more to the society.
Yeah.
And this in azu takalore, and this in azu jizo di yargi do this gitu. So I hope simshu machane ani ta susu tola jangai nere ani susu ka chinde nera. Do what you love. Ani enjoy what you do. Karang kari chinde chi ani kari chigena. Sometimes we don't have right? For student, we need to go to college and we need to be there in class. We don't have right to bunk the class. Also, for college, attendance gacha longer like 70 in a day, 50 in a day. So we need to go there and be attentive. And the only it's don't try to consider that as a discipline or like look down on discipline mangbuera. Ani wrong shira medi ani the chiyang yob motivation luck and it's hirara. And just something right medi try to enjoy that moment, right? You can go to class and you can make friends and interact with them. And current college la dwell motivation need kachina na current dropa on the pala yorara. Ani the interest gelay lab go like current na mga de. That's how you build your connection with others.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Lhamo Choedon. Thank you so much for coming to the Pidgey podcast.
Thank you so much for having me and keep doing what you guys are doing, okay?
Thank you. Likewise. Likewise. Thank you.